Three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Happy Life with Maria podcast. Today we have an amazing guest. This is Fabian Molano, who is a photographer in New York City, who is super awesome. So I can't wait for you all to hear his story and his journey. I hope you find it just as interesting as I do. But let's get started. Welcome, Fabian.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited because, so for everybody who doesn't know, we met about a year and a half ago at like a salsa social that you were doing the photography for.
Yes.
So known each other for like a year and a half, but now finally we get to hear your story, which I think is super interesting. And so why don't we start with, we'll just do like a little bit of an overview of the journey. Why don't we start with what did you do before photography and how did it all start?
Before the photography, I was therapist in physical and psychological aspects.
Okay.
I was working in Barcelona. It was my city. I came from Barcelona just 5 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, so how did you get into the physical therapy?
Basically, what happened is when I was living in Barcelona, my thought was to go in some way that I like to live. Yeah, I was working at that moment as a waiter, because I'm talking about like 24 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
And I decided to go in something that I like. Sports is something that I always enjoy. Yeah, doing martial arts, working out at the gym, and I'm starting to learn about bodybuilder and fitness in general. And this is the way that I'm starting to work in some gyms, and working the people feels like that they could trust me. Yeah, and because of that, they're starting to ask me more things about their own health, that the way that they feel. And I could notice that I didn't have enough tools to help them. And I decided to do something to serve in a better way these people. Yeah, that's why I'm starting to study different techniques about therapy to recover these people.
But before you got to Spain, we'll take a step back. Before you got to Spain, you actually are not originally from Spain, right? Where are you from originally?
I was born in Colombia.
Originally from Colombia.
Yeah, exactly. But I like to say that I'm half Colombian, half Spanish. I live half of my life in Colombia and the other half of my life in Spain. Yeah, it's a country that I love so much. I was living in Barcelona. This is my city.
But I remember that you were saying that when you were in Spain, initially, so you had to like study for the therapy part, right? But you didn't have the funds for it. How did you end up studying? I want to hear that story.
This was a difficult moment for me, because when you move to other country, you have to start from scratch. Yeah, and was complicated. I had my partner for this moment, and we both moved there from Czech Republic, because she's Czech, and as I told you, I was working as a waiter, and I decided to start studying. I found one of the best academies, and I went there, and I tried to talk because I didn't have money, any credit, anything. And they say, look, you can pay monthly, but with credit card. What it means, I pay to the bank monthly. But I tell him, look, I don't have any credit card. I don't have anything, but I want to study. Or we want to study, because it was for two. And he told me, okay, but what do you have to show me that you will pay And I said to him, the only thing that I have is my word. I promise you that I will pay you.
Just your word.
Yes, just my word.
Just your word.
And he says, okay. And he accepted. In that way, we study 2 courses. Yeah, just monthly. We pay was something important, because when you do that, you build your trust. Some people have to trust you. Yeah, that's why it was most important for me to pay than eat. Sometimes we have to reduce our food to pay our costs, but was something that you can see in the future. Yeah, this was a really good investment.
That's amazing. I'm like so impressed that somebody would like trust your word and like go with that, because yeah, it's definitely like a really interesting thing that they did. Okay, so you end up having a course. They let you kind of take your word for it, pay later. What happens after that? You study. How do you get a job?
Well, what happened was because they trust in what I did, paying and being a good student, they helped me to find a job. It was a really good tennis club. This is the way that I'm starting to work in tennis clubs in Barcelona and in the area. And it was a really good sensation, you know, because you see that your effort like worth it. It makes sense. Everything makes sense. Yeah, they send me to these people, and I'm starting to work there, teaching different kinds of classes and being a personal trainer. And this is the way that I'm starting in this specific club. And then I found another gym, and I worked there for some years. And actually, I ended up managing a little bit the gym too.
That's awesome. So this is you doing the physical, right? The training.
Yeah.
How did you get into the psychology later? How did you get into that?
Well, was like everything is like a chain. You go one step, then you discover all the thing, and the another step is like very clear for you.
Okay.
What happens if I have my students, my clients, and they trust me because I teach them. I like to put the knowledge in pieces.
Okay.
Because it's easy to understand, and I like to play. I always explain things plain, and I said small pieces. Okay. For example, I tell them if you do this exercise, you have to move this muscle with this. I explain very, very in detail. Okay. They trust me more. They starting to talk about, look, I feel this pain here. Oh, this is because the movement is incorrect in this position, things like that. Mm-hmm. With time, they feel more trust, and they're starting to talk about themselves and what happened in their life. And I fully understand that was the moment to introduce another tool in my life. That's why I go into psychology, but this isn't how to explain that. This is a Chinese psychology,
okay,
based on Taoism.
Oh, Taoism.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And helped me so much to understand the way everybody moves in their life, the motivations. What do we have like programs in our minds? Yeah, it was very important. And what happened at the end is that I mix everything in just one therapy. I have my own office,
okay,
and these people come there. We have physical therapists, but they talk. You know, this is the way that you can manage the physical and psychological aspect at the same time.
Okay. And did you see a connection with their physical body when they had like a stress or they had like an emotional issue? Did it affect their physical? Did you see it?
Actually, yes. Our thoughts interfere in our body. Yeah, everything is connected. Yeah, and your body talks about what happened inside you, what happened in your mind. One thing that I discovered at that moment is sometimes they were in my massage table, and I press some point, and they start to talk, and talk and talk. I just ask questions, and they go more and more deeply. And I can say that this muscle release faster than when just apply the technique, the physical technique. Yeah. And sometimes it's difficult for people to understand that some emotion provoke like changes in your body. But let me use this example. Have you ever feel anger? Yeah, everybody feels anger in some point. Yeah,
everybody feels
and I said people anger produce physical changes.
Okay.
And sometimes it's difficult to imagine that. But one of the first things that happen when you feel this emotion is this.
Like, the forehead? You
yeah,
get
the
like
forehead.
A frown on the
yeah,
forehead?
and your muscle gets
tense muscle in the whole body. Okay.
Your heartbeat increase.
Yes.
Your hormone change. Yeah.
Okay.
Your body gets very hot. Your muscles prepare for fight or just escape. All these physical changes produced because one emotion. You can imagine what happened if you have this emotion for a lot of time, all these hormones going crazy inside your body could produce some illness.
The tension of the muscles, everything.
Exactly. Your blood cannot
circulate.
Exactly. This is very complicated. And we talk about one emotion. How many emotions do we have? Like a lot. You know? This is complicated. So that's why it's related.
So you saw that it's related. The reason why I asked you that, because in my own experience, I have noticed like if I have like stress in my life, it would affect me physically. So I'll share a little story. When I was like maybe 25 years old, I was working at this company and I had like crazy back pain. Like I would come to the office with like a back brace. And my coworker, I was sharing a desk with my coworker, and she's looking at me, she's like, "You're 25 years old. Why do you have like a back brace, you know?" And it happened to be that she had her own back pain experience that she healed, and she shared with me because she went to do 2 surgeries on her back.
Oh my goodness.
And first time she would do it, the disc issue would come back. Second time she would do it, the disc issue would come back. By the third time, she got this book from her doctor. It was like a mind-body connection, like how your stress, your mental...
This pain is no mind?
Yeah. No, it's like it was a lot of stress. It's the doctor is called Dr. Sarno. There's a book by Dr. Sarno, and it's called, there's like 2 books. I think one is like Heal Your Back Pain, and the other one is like Mind-Body Experience or something like that. But yeah, Dr. Sarno. Check out Dr. Sarno. So she said that she read the book and she was able to understand that it was coming back because emotionally she was experiencing the same stress, the same kind of pressure in her life, and that would like cause the muscles to contract and push the disc out, right? So she kind of learned to address her emotions, and it would like get rid of. She didn't need to do the third surgery. She healed by just addressing her emotions.
Oh my goodness.
So she shared with me, she's like, "Here's a book, Dr. Sarno." So I go get the book and I read it, and I go home and I start making like a list of what's the stress in my life. What is that's causing me like a lot of like tension and too super stressful, you know, like things. And I think within 1 week, the pain like disappeared because I didn't know what to do. I was going to like physical therapy, acupuncture. I was going to like everything, and it would cause more stress, and it would just be worse and worse.
Yeah.
So this was kind of taking a step back and kind of like just being like, look at the emotional part. And then sometimes it's connected. And it was gone. Like in a week, there was no back pain, no brace, nothing, no need to more physical therapy. And then from then I learned like anytime you have like, a lot of it like has to do with other health issues also. Anytime you have like a physical health issue, it can be also connected to emotional. So that was like super, super like mind blowing to me back then. So that's why I asked you if you saw the connection, because you're working with the physical body, so you know that the emotional can affect
and
the
it's
physical.
easy to see when you go to vacations.
What do you mean?
When you go to vacation, most of your problems disappear.
Yes.
No more
yes.
back pain, no more.
Yes.
Because your stress reduce.
Yes.
Sometimes takes a lot of time to heal.
Right.
Because you need the process to understand situations in your life. Yeah? It's like digestion. You need this time to process, and then you heal. And one thing that we could see in therapy with my master is the contractures. Well, my specialty in therapy is contraction. Yeah, the contraction is when the muscle produce this tension and is go more and more and more and create these knots. Everybody said, I have knots here, there. Okay, this is a contraction. Okay. And it's very difficult for your body to release that. And you have to go physically and press, remove. Usually that is because you repeat the same movement for a lot of time. For example, people who works in companies doing this movement, or some makeup artists doing this in your hair, this movement is
using the same muscle
exactly,
over and over again.
and over. You can have contraction or inflammation, things like that. But what happened with somebody who works in an office?
Okay.
Yeah, not many repetitions. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you have problems in your hands, but what happened in your legs? What happened in your lower back? The thing is the stress. Stress today is one of the biggest illness in our society.
Yes. Yes.
And when people could release that and they talk about their problems and they discover, especially from themselves, through the questions that we can ask, they could understand something new and they relax and they let it go.
That's interesting that you said that the key to releasing the stress is talking about it, because a lot of the times people don't even realize they can talk about it. They're like, oh, let me go, like, shoot some hoops, let me go, like, hit something, I don't know. So they don't even realize sometimes how beneficial talking can be. And like you said, if you're asking them questions, letting them have like an outlet. It's like you said, like sometimes it can be like you're like in a room and you feel like everything is closed off, but talking is like opening a window, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of like releases.
Well, look, this is something happens in Harry Potter.
Okay.
They have this big enemy mysteries that nobody could name. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you name the monster lose his powers. When you name your problem, you could feel this relaxation. So, oh, I could understand. You can hear what's the problem for yourself. You can understand, you process that. That's why it's very beneficial when you said for yourself, my problem is this, or I think that this situation is affecting me because of this, and you go and go, and you name all these monsters. And they, maybe not all of them, maybe that some of them needs more work, but this is the process.
That's so true, though. I think that's definitely the key. Is definitely like the talking about it, the asking the right questions, is getting deeper into it, and it can affect, like I said, like it can affect the physical, it can affect everything, it can affect your whole area of your life. Okay, so let's say so you're working there, right? You have your patients, and you're doing the emotional and the physical together. How long were you there for? A couple of years. You were in that job in Spain.
Actually, I was working as a therapist and personal trainer for like 18 years
Around there in
something.
Spain.
Yeah.
18 years. You were doing
Yeah.
that for 18 years, so you're pretty knowledgeable in that.
Yeah, this is something that I really love, and I put all my energy traveling to different countries to learn new techniques. I was so fortunate that I found in my life really good masters, people who lead me, who guide me, sorry, and they teach me a lot. And I just share with other people what I learned.
Okay. Well, who would you say were like the top 2 masters that you had?
Oh, two.
Top
Okay, one.
Okay.
The first one that I found in Spain, his name is Joaquin Jusia.
Okay.
We call it Kim.
Okay.
Actually, I knew him because he was my teacher in bodybuilding,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and this is something weird, no? To find a wise man doing something very physical. Usually, we don't relate these two things.
Yeah.
We have the idea that people who spend much time in their body, they don't spend time in their minds. Well, this was a really different situation. He is a really wise man, and we create a really good relationship, and he starting to guide me. He was like a father for me, and he was very involved in the physical recovery, and he's starting to teach me. You know, and then he said, "Look, I think that your way could be this. I saw you," because he was like a father, and was really good for me. And starting to study more and more and more, and always I have my father there
Right.
to guide me.
Right.
It was fantastic. The other one
Yeah. 2.
is Francesc Mariejas.
Okay.
He's another Catalan man. He teach me about this Taoism, the psychologist, Chinese psychologist. He creates like a method.
Yeah.
He calls Tao del Cambio.
Okay.
This is like a Tao for the change.
Oh, that's cool.
Really beautiful. As I said, it's based on Taoism, and the fifth phases like water, wood, metal, earth, and
Air.
fire.
Oh, fire. Oh, it's like the elements, the 5 elements.
the five
elements.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is based on traditional medicine. The
Okay.
Chinese traditional medicine is all related.
So, can you give me an example how you would apply that, let's say, to somebody?
Okay, basically, you have your own essence.
Okay.
Yeah, the way that you behave.
Okay.
Somebody likes, for example, talk a lot and use vibrant colors, red, yeah, and likes to be around people and wants the people, oh, you look at me, yeah. This is because this person is moving in some energy,
Okay.
and we call this energy fire.
Fire. If they're moving a lot, they're fire.
If they move it a lot, it's more wood in reality.
oh.
But this is people who likes to be, needs to feel admired.
Oh,
No?
they crave people,
with people around and doing
them. They're
things
like
that makes me
extrovert.
feel like great.
That's
this is fire. But
Okay.
if somebody's very quiet, like looks like introvert, this person have the tendency to be water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you know that your behavior is part of the nature, you feel better with yourself because you're not weird. You just move in this energy, in this part of the nature.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because nobody's weird, you know?
That's pretty cool. Okay, so you have this like a Taoist kind of look at the people's behavior, and you can tie it to the elements, and then because it becomes like easier to kind of help the person, right? Once you understand the bigger picture of their kind of situation. Okay. So that's two masters. Thanks for sharing. So you are in Spain 18 years, doing both physical and the emotional. You're loving it. You have your great masters. You have a partner there, right? And then what makes you want to leave Spain? Because now you're in US. What made you leave Spain?
Oh, well, this is, I think this is one of the difficult parts of my life in reality. I would like to say something beautiful, nice. Maybe was at that moment. The thing is, I moved here to States because of love. Yeah, I was dating somebody, a girl,
Okay.
and she was living here. Well, she lives here.
In America.
Yeah, here,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. And we were in that relationship for like 2 years, I think. But she living here, and I was living in Barcelona.
Oh, you were commuting? You were traveling
Yes.
back and forth?
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't get.
And this is very difficult. And when you are in a relationship like that, in distance, everything magnifies. But you see things like with your pink glasses, everything looks beautiful. Yeah. Everything is perfect. And you can manage any situation because of that. And you feel the sensation, I want to be with this person.
Because you don't see them all the time.
Exactly. And accelerate all the process.
Because
This
you're
is-
excited to see them.
Exactly.
Because you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen them in so long.
Yeah, when you have your boyfriend here in the same city, you can see in any moment. Okay, see you tomorrow. You know that you see your boyfriend tomorrow. You feel a little bit more relaxed. You don't feel in a rush. Yeah. But when you are separate like that, and you want to be with this person, you have to find a solution. And the solution is move.
So accelerate made you make the step faster so that
Exactly.
you can be closer.
Exactly,
Ah,
exactly.
Okay.
And I offered to her to move to Spain because I like this way to live in Spain. To have the beach very close to my apartment was really good. I have my clients. I have a really good life. I enjoy so much, and she really likes Spain.
Okay.
It's easy to travel to other countries in Europe, or many things like that. But she had a really good work here, and because she works in like accounting, what she says, it's very difficult for me to find a job there. I have to start again with everything. Why you don't move here? You can do the same things here because you can work with people everywhere. I said, well, sounds good. Why not? And I have family here. I said, okay, I move.
Oh, because she said you can find your job faster than
Yeah,
she,
well,
because
it's-
she has like okay.
Yeah.
So she said you.
This was the primary thought.
decision. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said okay.
Okay, I moved here, and what I discovered is in less than 2 months, all my life changed completely in a bad way, unfortunately.
After you moved here and you got to spend more time with the person and you got to
Yeah.
be here physically
Exactly.
more than just once in a million years, you start to see the real person.
Yeah, it's when you see the reality, when you live with somebody, and the things are really different than what you thought. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So what ended up happening? Like, what kind of behavior did you start to see in that person that was not what you were normally seeing when you were happy mode?
This is not something easy to talk, but when somebody had this is nasty with you, I feel in a very weak position because I moved and I was in a new country without any English. My English was so bad. It's not very good at this moment.
It's good.
But,
it's good. Okay.
But for that moment was so bad. I feel
new country, new language,
new everything without work because I applied for my first residence. It's a long process. It's not easy. Yeah? I feel just like nothing. And this person feels like
she made you feel.
She feels like with a lot of power, and she used it against me.
Oh.
Yeah, and even with all my trajectory, I feel bad, and all these things come to me with like big heavy weight. And this is something that I discovered that with therapy is I was victim of family abuse.
Like emotional abuse at home.
Emotional abuse at
home.
Exactly.
Because it was like they were saying words, right? They were saying negative words to you.
Yeah.
For example, they would say
insults.
They were saying
things that
you're
I don't
not
want.
good enough. They will say like
You're like nothing.
You're nothing. They would tell you you're nothing.
Yeah, like she was treat me like a lazy man, somebody who don't care about anything, like a loser, like somebody who doesn't want to work. Yeah, you don't do anything. It's like I was thinking, is this reality? I'm living in a dream, like a nightmare. All the things that I did in my life, the life that I had in Barcelona, I was working in the best tennis club in the city. Yeah, I met very important people, very famous people. I work with them. I have them like my clients in my own office. I travel around the world, learning things, and that was like nothing for her. It's just because she feels with power and she tries to use it. And when you are in that moment, you can see it. You are like blind.
Oh, you couldn't see it?
No, you couldn't see it. You can think very well. And now I could understand these people who suffer this kind of abuse.
The emotional abuse.
Yeah, it's difficult to go out of this situation.
Oh, because when you are in it, you don't see it as abuse.
Exactly.
You see
it's very difficult to see because you are involved. But other people, like your friends, your family, they could see what happened. But even they
can't explain it to you because you don't see it.
Exactly.
You don't
No, you can't understand her. She's a good girl. She loves me, but she's spending a bad time. Things like that.
You come up with excuses for that person.
Yes.
You defend the person. You say, "Oh, but she had a stressful day,"
Yeah,
or
she will change.
She will change. She's working on herself, right? She's working on it. She will.
But you know that she isn't working in herself. You know, and
So you
it's a big monster that just growing and growing and growing.
Why do you think you defend that person? Why do you think you end up defending that person and not seeing the reality when you are in it? Is it because you are connected to that person, you care about that person?
One thing is because of hope.
You hope it gets better.
Yes. And hope is not the best thing. You're always thinking will be better. You have expectations. Yeah. And the other reason is how much you invest in your emotions. Yeah. you create moral attachments. Yeah, what you invest is your life. It's not just money, because you can recover money, but you can't recover time or life. And you don't want to lose this investment, to waste just like that. And you try more. In the same way that I try hard in my work, in my career, I'm very family man.
Yes, you value family, yes.
Yeah, this is one of my values, family. And if I was found in this family, I want to try to do it.
Make it work. You want to make it work. You want
Exactly.
to do everything to make it work. You work as hard as you have to make it work.
But in some point, you discover that it's impossible and you have to do something.
It's not a healthy situation.
Exactly.
It makes you feel miserable. It makes you feel like you're nothing, because they tell you that basically all day long.
Yeah, and you have to decide, is this person or is me? Yeah, this is the moment that you have to give you in a good position in your life. Usually we put other people in first place,
Yeah.
but we are important for us. Sounds silly, but we have to be important for us. And this is what happened. At the end, I have to make the decision and abandon this relationship, even with the consequences.
But you were already married to that person?
Yes, no. Oh, in this moment, no.
Not yet.
I was married with her when I just finished the relationship, but the difficult thing was I could lose everything, because my residence here was attached with the marriage.
Oh, because you were married, the residency happened. But now, if you're gonna leave the relationship,
They could say
what's gonna happen?
you have to come back
What's
to your
gonna happen
country.
to your residency?
Yeah.
So it was a risk.
But it was before my second residence, the permanent. But I accept that. I said, okay, I prefer to lose everything than live this life. It's insane. I was very sick in my mind, in my body. It
It
was
started
crazy.
to affect
Yeah.
you
So much.
physically and
So much.
emotionally. And you didn't recognize yourself probably. You were like, that's
Exactly.
not me.
What's all these pains and all the things happening to me? Why? Why? What's clear? What's there? Had a name.
Wow.
And when I named my monster,
Monster went away.
exactly.
That's so crazy. I'm so sorry you had to experience that. But
Yeah, but
you had to make the decision that's right for you. You had
yeah,
to choose
but
yourself.
if you ask me, my third master,
Yeah.
I would tell her, he's my third master.
What? This negative person that made you this miserable was somebody that's like considered like a master, like a teacher in your life? Why?
Yes.
Why?
Because this person showed me parts of myself, my capacity to manage situations, and she showed me my own problems, what I have to resolve in my life, my emotional dependency. This is very important. And she showed me what I don't want in my life, and to decide what kind of people I want in my life, what kind of partner I would like for me, what is important and what is not. And don't think just with the pink glasses, yeah, with magical,
Everything is perfect.
yeah, exactly. These magical thoughts,
Not reality.
no reality. Yeah,
When you say emotional, what did you say? Your lesson was emotional. The name you learned about yourself.
yep. What I learned that I have emotional dependence.
Dependency. So what do you mean by dependency?
Sometimes we look for love
Okay.
because we want somebody who loves me, somebody who understands me,
Okay.
somebody who takes care of me. But if you say, who love me? Me, yeah? Who wants love? Me. Who wants somebody who will take care of me? Me. It's about me all the time. I need somebody. I need love. Means that I am dependent on somebody.
Outside of yourself.
Exactly.
Somebody outside of yourself, and then you will feel it, right? You're like, somebody outside of self can give me.
Exactly. I feel okay if somebody loves me.
If
If somebody don't love me, I don't feel okay.
You don't feel okay.
Yes.
Oh, so your feelings were dependent on outside person telling you that they love you, or you feel, and if they don't say it,
Exactly.
okay.
And I could see that in the past when I finished with some relationship because they left me or because I left the relationship, I always feels like, oh my goodness, this is the last girlfriend in my life. Nobody will love me again. All these silly things. But for this time was different. I just understand, I know I could find somebody else. Why not? And it doesn't matter if I spend some time, 1 year, 2 years alone, it's okay. Because I want to be like good with myself. And this is a good state of mind. Because now you're not depending on other people.
Outside to give you love.
Exactly.
How did you end up learning? You just kind of developed that skill to realize, wait a minute, I can give myself love.
Exactly.
Right? I can respect myself.
Exactly. If you can't spend with yourself an entire day because you feel bored and desperate at home, who wants to live with you?
Ooh, what an interesting question.
Even you are a nightmare for yourself.
So you have to develop a skill where you are at home for the entire day and you feel okay and you feel interested enough in being by yourself.
Some people can be by themselves half hour.
Yes. It's like, I need a human.
Yeah, and they need to talk with somebody, go to Facebook, to Instagram, and chat, and whatever. This is very complicated. We try to create distractions for ourselves to don't be with ourselves. I think this is important. We need to learn how to be with ourselves and understand. I think it's very important to be bored sometimes. It's a good space to think, to create, to learn.
Yeah, when you're bored, that's when you get the ideas to create. That's when your ideas to learn something you crave, like information.
Yep.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it sounds like one of the biggest aspects you learned was how not to depend from somebody outside of you to give you that love or care and respect, but to spend time on yourself, spend time away from relationships and kind of focus on you and develop that skill where you are now good as you are without anybody outside, validating you or giving you that love because it sounds like when you have somebody, a partner, right, that you depend on their care or love, if they leave for a day or two, you feel like, who am I? Like, where is that? That's like your source of oxygen. Oh, my hair is going. We could just open it. So you feel like that's your source of oxygen, right? But this way you learn to be relying on your own care, your own love, and your own kind of capacity to be yourself. Okay.
And it doesn't mean that you have to be alone or that you can't share your life with somebody. It's in which position you do that. I can be with you without necessity, but I want to be with you. It's lovely to spend my time with you. But if you go,
I'm okay.
I'm okay because my life
Doesn't depend on...
exactly, it's not finished today. Yeah? I don't die if you go. I can do my life.
That's the difference. That's a really important difference.
Yeah, I could miss you, because it's nice to be with you because you're fun. Yeah, I can talk with you. We can travel together. We can do many things. We can create our family. We can have a project together. It's nice. With somebody, it's nice. Why not? Yeah? But it's not because I'm independent. It's very different.
But when you're calm and you're sure of yourself, you're comfortable with who you are, you're not so dependent on them. They can go, they can stay, they can move, but you still be good.
Yep.
You're still good as you are because you know you can give yourself that love, you can give yourself that respect. You're still the same person, you still have the same qualities, right? You still have the same talents.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how somebody's talking to you or not talking to you, your qualities are the same.
Yeah, exactly. This place will be the same with you or without you, because they have this place has structure. You have your own structure. You know who you are. You understand this way the maximum possible, because we learn about ourselves every day. But if you're clear, minimum clear in that, you can be yourself. Another person could enjoy this part of yourself. If it's this person or other you don't want, thank you. Have a good day. Next.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing. Okay. Thanks for sharing. So it sounds like unfortunately you had a very bad relationship, but thank God you made the choice to leave that relationship because it was not a healthy situation. There was a lot of negativity and all that stuff, and I'm sure the yelling and the screaming was going on too. But let's say you are how did you meet the next person in your life? Let's just go straight into that, because that person is actually here behind the scenes, the current wife, who is super awesome.
She is. Was interesting because we were working in the same place. Okay. She's a music teacher.
Okay. Here in New York.
In New Jersey.
New Jersey.
And the thing is, I was working in the maintenance area, and I met her there. And she's really nice person. She really enjoys her work. Is very talented, and it's something to admire. And okay, when I finished my relationship, I was very comfortable.
You weren't looking for another relationship. You were like,
I wasn't.
I'm good as I am.
I wasn't. But life sometimes guides you, I was trying to go in some way. And maybe life was like, no man, no that, go here. You're so stubborn, come here, and just guide me. And I'm starting to talk with her. We have interesting conversations. She likes to read books. She's very she has a rich culture. Okay. And that's why it was very interesting to talk with her. Mm-hmm. And that situation allows us to know each other a little bit without any deep interest. Was something very natural. Mm-hmm. And at the end, we go. She had her birthday. Her birthday is in December, mm-hmm. and I just went and invite her to a coffee.
Aww. Yeah. The old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Just was so beautiful, so nice. And I really found somebody very close to these things that I had in my mind.
What
important.
was you looking? Because it sounds like before you had different things that were important to you, right? But now, what was the new kind of look on life that you had? What was the new top 3 things that you were looking for?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, usually what we look for is what we talked before. Somebody who loves me,
Okay.
somebody nice,
Okay.
somebody who treats me very good,
Okay.
somebody
Funny.
funny, yeah, who respect me, they understand me, who accept me in the way that I am. This
Okay.
is very important for us. I
Yes.
want that you accept me. If you don't accept me, I don't want anything with you.
Okay. Okay.
I think this is wrong, but this is another
You
thing.
think that's wrong?
We can talk about that later.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but I was thinking and investigating what is really important. Yeah? And I found basically three things.
Okay.
I thought this person have to have this,
Quality.
these qualities. Like this person have to have capacity to recognize their own mistakes or the errors, to recognize. Meaning that if you do something bad, to say, I'm sorry,
It was my fault.
it was my fault, my mistake. Yeah? To reduce the ego and say,
Not to blame everything on the other
Exactly.
person or
well, it's
take
because
the
of you. I did that because of you.
Don't say it was someone else's fault.
Uh-huh.
Take responsibility and admit.
Exactly.
Okay, I admit that was me. I apologize.
I have this moment like this and I said these things, but I was wrong. This capacity is very, very important. Another good capacity is the communication. But communication is not just talk and chat all the time, because sometimes we think that we communicate with people because we just with gossiping, no? Like saying things like
Talking, so that means communicate. But
Yeah,
no.
I communicate very well with my wife because we talk about the novella and the show,
TV
the
show.
movie, and what happened at work. And this person told me that things. Yep,
No,
but this is not talk.
that's not communication.
This is not communication.
No.
Communication is when you can sit and say, okay, come, this is the situation that we have. We need to find a solution. And this is the point one, this is the point two, But usually we think we see these things like negative. But it's very important that you can have this capacity to say things. What I think, what I feel, what is my sensation in all this situation, what I really want in life, to know the other person in reality, being clear. I think this is very, very, very important.
Yes, definitely. Communication is one of the most. But I like the way that you're explaining it because a lot of people may not know exactly what that means. Like I said, some people may think we're just talking, so that's communication. You know,
Yeah.
we're discussing, the TV show or whatever it is. But that's not really communication. Right?
Exactly.
Communication
Or people just, they scream each other.
right.
Yeah? Because it's the other important part in communication. The way that you communicate. Yeah, because your channel could be different than mine. Maybe you need to read, or maybe you need to talk, or maybe you need to stop for a moment and think and then talk. You have to organize all these things. This is part of communication.
Oh, so
Yep.
not just like screaming and yelling, but explaining and saying, this is what my view is, this is what the situation is on my view.
Yeah,
Like,
or just have a monologue that you talk and the other person is there. Mhm. Oh yeah.
Like,
uh-huh,
no, that's
uh-huh,
not communication.
This is not a communication.
That's not communication.
And the third point
Yeah.
is the
Personal growth.
Personal
I remember
growth.
you
Yeah,
mentioned
we-
it before.
yeah,
You
we-
mentioned it before. That was a really good
Yeah.
one. So, but
How-
what do you consider personal growth?
when these people is looking for something good for themselves, is trying to be a better person every day.
Improving every day, watching what their
Exactly.
actions are, watching how their emotions are.
Exactly.
want to improve.
Trying to evolve and don't stay in the same position for 30 years. Because this is the way that I am. And you have to accept me in this way that I am. I'm stubborn and you have to accept me. And I'm alcoholic and you have to accept me. Yeah? and I like to scream, and you have to accept me like that because my mother told me that this is love when you accept me. Sorry, but no. Yeah,
That's
I need to evolve myself.
Look inside yourself.
Exactly. It is both in the relationship. They have to do that. It's not just one part doing the work, doing the hard work. It's both working the same way to build a family, to build something that is important.
I like that. So it's basically, it sounds like somebody that understands that they can look at themselves, they can, look at where the area they have to improve, right? If they're reacting, why they're reacting, right? Look at themselves instead of just, blaming it on somebody else or saying, that's how I am, you have to accept me, right? No, you can say, maybe I can work on this, right? Maybe I can improve on this. Maybe, if you see that that's something that's harming someone else, then that's something you should work on, you should look into. So that's what you meant when you say accept people as they are, because sometimes it may be something that's harmful to the other person, but they're just, I yell, so you just accept the yelling because I'm a yeller, right? And that's what I've been doing my whole life, so you either accept the yelling or you don't, right?
Yeah, because I was born in some part of the planet and people scream all the time. Yeah, but you don't have to be like that. You can change.
If you want to.
If
you want to.
Of course.
Right, they have to want to.
You always have the possibility to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and if somebody have the capacity to recognize the mistakes, the error, they said, I'm sorry because I treat you in this way. Okay, nice. This part is nice. But what is next? You don't want to repeat that. But if you don't study, if you don't learn how to do it, if you don't grow yourself, it's not magic. This is not that you change because one day the fairy tale come here and you change it. No, this is happen in Disney, but no here in the real life.
That's amazing. I kind of like the 3 qualities because that kind of covers a lot. Because like you said, in the other relationship, unfortunately, the person was yelling and screaming and doing all these negative things. But if they are, like I said, if they're working on themselves, right, they have the personal development aspect to it, they would want to watch how they react to the other person, right? They would want to be aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is that what you saw in the person that you're with now?
Exactly. And this is what I see, and this is what I value more. This is important.
That's one of your values. Let's get into the values thing. I really want to get into the values thing because I hear that word so many times where people are like, we have to have the same values. But what does that mean? Like, what would you consider a value? Like, what does the value mean?
If you think in value, for example, this mark has some value.
Okay.
Yeah. You pay certain money, but it's not maybe 1 million.
Okay.
No, it's not 1 million. Okay, but you can see in other things you have more value, less value. Because of that, we are confused. Value is because it's important.
So something that's important to you.
Yes.
So you
value is something that's important for you.
Who has something.
Basically, it's all these things that guide your life. It makes it's important for you.
When you make your decisions, right, in life, you make your decisions in your life based on what guides your life.
You base your life in these ideas. For example, you said, for me it's important, family is important.
Okay.
This is your value, family.
Oh, because that's what your guide in life is,
and
family.
Exactly. You visit your mother. You do the best things for them. You create your marriage in a really good way. You work for improve these people there because this is important. Family is important for you.
So let's say communication, is that a value?
Communication is a value. Exactly. You said communication is value for you, What you can't do is, I don't want to talk.
Oh my God, I see that so much. This
Yes.
silent treatment.
The silent treatment. This is very negative. Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, you see people it's like, something happened, my love? No, I'm okay. And always like that. There's no communication there.
They just ignore it. They say,
Yeah. Is this a
but they don't
bad
tell
treatment?
you why. They don't tell you why either.
They don't tell you why. You have to try to think and see what happened. And at the end, this person told you like, you have to know what happened. Yes, but
You
I'm
have
not
to
a
know.
wizard, you know?
So that's a bad form of communication, right?
Exactly.
If they do the silent treatment,
Yeah.
that's not communication.
No, this is really, really negative. This is considered like
like toxic.
toxic, completely
Really?
toxic.
Yeah, because they're kind of not giving you any explanation, right? They're not giving you.
Yeah, this person is trying to use
Manipulation?
the power to make you feel bad. Why?
Oh, that's right. You start to feel bad because they're ignoring you. So
Exactly.
you start to feel bad and you're trying to fix it.
It's like, I want that you feel bad because I feel bad. Because you don't do what I want, now I punish you with my silence. But in reality, if you love somebody, if you said that somebody is special for you, you treat this person like that? No. Yeah? This is my value. Set. I want to treat my special one in a special way. If I said that my wife is important for me, I will treat her as an important person. Always. Always. Period.
So, like, important person in your life, meaning, what do you mean?
For example, we talked about that
Yes, just
before.
now,
Yep.
yeah.
If my wife, we were with friends drinking something, and my wife sent me a message or call me, I will answer her because she's important. Yeah? My friends could wait for a moment, and I answer her because she's important for me. Yeah? I can't ignore her. She can wait. No, why? I said that she's important for me. And if she needs something, I will help her in very first place because I said that she's important for me. And if she's important for me, I will build my family in the best way. I will work for my family. Yeah? And this is something that I always heard. And we talk with my wife sometimes that people said, or women said sometimes like, my husband is so nice. He helped me at home.
Okay.
What it means that he helped. He cleans at home. He helped me with the dishes. He helped me. He said, I don't have to help at home. I never help my wife at home. Never. Because I don't have to help. I have to do what I have to do. I clean because I have to clean. She doesn't have to do everything for me.
Oh, you both have a responsibility.
Exactly. It's not just her house.
And I'm helping her. No.
Yes, I don't have to help her.
It's both of your house.
Exactly.
And both of you have to do something.
In the same way that I
home.
don't have to say, she helped me at home. No, we both.
Have responsibility.
Exactly.
We both do something. at
Why?
home.
Because my values, my principles, they guide my life. Okay, she's important. My family is important. I have to work in that way.
That's pretty cool. I like how your value, kind of the way that you value the person is how you treat them, right? This is how you end up treating somebody who's your partner because you know that that's an important person in your life. So because they're an important person in your life, you'll answer the phone first, right? You do things together at home first, right? The way you communicate, probably there's no screaming and yelling, I'm assuming, like you had in the
No.
other relationship. How is the communication here? If you have something you want to, there's like no fight. Is it more of a discussion? How does that happen if there's something?
every relationship had some moments, conflictive moments. This is normal, and the thing is, how do you resolve that?
Yeah, like in the other one, you had a lot of screaming and yelling. The other person was very emotionally.
Exactly. But when you have somebody with capacity of communication, you can talk. Yeah, even if you're mad, but you can talk and you can say, I feel mad for this.
This makes me upset.
Yeah, this situation
upset.
makes me feel sad, or makes me feel insecure, or
You
makes
can
me
say
feel.
it.
You can be honest. You communicate. Yeah, and you can sit and resolve the situation and spend time trying to find a good way. I think it's an easy way, and it's very productive.
Yeah, like I said, I think we were talking about before. I feel like if more couples or more people in their life would kind of figure out a skill set that leads them to communicate in this way, where if you have a disagreement, you don't scream and yell and like, oh my God, how dare you, or like blame, but you can explain in words. You can say, this makes me feel, unseen. This makes me feel, upset, whatever you want to call it. And this way you can actually like come up with different solutions. Like, what can we do to change the situation, right? What are some of the solutions we can come up with, instead of just, how dare you did this, you did that.
Because you all the time, yeah.
That's such an important skill set. I really hope a lot of people kind of spend time and develop that kind of a skill, because I feel like for the world, the more people that do that would be amazing. Because I think we were talking about before, right? A lot of the times people are super nice to strangers, to people outside of their home, but in their own private home that they spend so much time with the person, they're screaming and yelling and they're nasty and they're saying all these negative things.
Yeah. What is your value there?
Which should be the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm. What is your focus?
Your focus is, why are you focusing so much on being nice to others instead of in your own home? Why don't you make that a priority? Why don't you make being kind in your own home a priority, right? Why can't you figure out a skill set to make that a kind space, a loving space? Because,
This is what happened in my previous relationship. If you see her, she's fantastic. She looks fantastic.
Oh, outside in public.
And I have to say that she's a marvelous worker. Mm-hmm. She works so good. She's very good in her work. And she's very nice with her co-workers. She's very good. It's amazing. And she's like, she looks so happy, but had the capacity to transform.
At home, it's a different person.
But she's not the only person in this situation. It's a lot of people like that.
That's right.
This is what you talk about.
That's right.
That's why we have to see what is important for me, what is value.
Oh, so right now, let's say, like, thankfully in the relationship you currently have, you saw that this person has the capacity to calmly tell you, oh, I feel, this makes me feel upset, or this makes me feel, bad, or, and then you saw that quality and you're like, oh, this is how this person communicates at home. So
and something that maybe could be useful for the people who listen right now is a little tip. It's like sometimes in the middle of the discussion, your partner could feel that you don't love her or love him, Sometimes it's important in the middle of the discussions to say, look, we have this problem in this moment, but it doesn't affect my feelings for you.
Feel for you.
I love you, but we have this situation.
Wow.
Yes. You remove this part from the equation. It's like, no, the situation is this, but my love is full.
I like
This is
that.
strong.
That's a really good tip. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, because that's the important thing to keep in mind. Like, overall picture stays the same.
Yeah.
The overall picture is the same. It's just you have a current situation you're trying to resolve.
Exactly.
That doesn't
it's nothing
change.
that change my feelings. Yeah.
That's a really good tip. Okay. So let's say you have thankfully found this new partner. What would you say is one of the most, I guess, the number one quality that you like in this person? What was it that you kind of were like, okay, I know this one is it?
Her acceptance, her capacity to recognize what happened on herself. I think this is very important. She
doesn't blame.
No, she's not throwing balls outside. Sometimes she could feel bad for something, and she could have some bad moment. But she comes and said, you know, I know that this happened with me. And I know that I have to do something. This is so valuable. This is very difficult that you reduce your ego and recognize that you're wrong, or that you're making bad decisions because your thoughts. I think this is very important.
Yes. Wow, so that's a beautiful quality.
Yeah. And I really admire her for that.
Wow, that was beautiful. Well, we could talk about that a lot more, but we have to shift to the next thing that you end up doing in your life, which is what you're currently doing, which is photography. So why don't we shift gears? Thank you so much for sharing that. Those were amazing lessons. Hopefully people find it valuable. But now let's say, how did you get into photography, and what made you kind of explore that next? Because now you're in a new country, right? You're in America, new partner. What made you look into photography?
Wow. This is a story. Okay. Look, everything happening in life guides you to